of the Nightclub. Here's at Season 3, Episode 9.
Yo, we got
We
the
are
Cheeks
deep
on the couch.
into it.
Fox and Falco on the stream.
What? 89's here? Yeah.
I
He
haven't
comes every
heard
once in a
of
while.
either of these players, but nowadays everyone's pretty clean. So let's see what they got.
Yeah, I think after Slippy, everyone's just cracked.com.
Yeah.
Nuts. Absolutely crazy. Like the most scrubbiest scrub that you think might have scrubbed ever to do the scrubbing is probably nice.
Great
Like,
example with that crouch down smash for the debate the get up attack. Like, is this really round one?
This is
Yeah, right.
Technically it's round 2, but they're each other's round 1. Yeah.
So what do you think? So, you know, like we talked about, like, everyone's like good now tech skill wise. Like, look at these combos. These are like pretty good combos. So what's the thing that separates, you know, the Slippy kids with the tech skill and like what's preventing them from getting to like the higher rounds? Those guys have been playing like 1-2 years, you know?
Yeah.
In your opinion?
So that's a really interesting question because if you look at the results, a lot of the guys who've been doing well for years are still doing well.
Right.
So it's like, how does that really make any sense if everyone got so much better? Well, I'd say that Melee is almost like an underground cult. And once you get to a certain level, there's still certain things that people understand about the fundamentals of the game that will keep them above the rest of the competition. Mostly it's neutral game nowadays.
Yeah.
There's certain things that people look for and remember that other people aren't at the place to look for and remember.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like some of that neutral stuff is like, it's like riding a bike kind of things, you know, like certain situations that happen over and over again. Once you like know the mix-ups in that situation, it's not something you really forget. Even if you take a break and come back to the game, you know,
Exactly.
like some players did over the pandemic, like they stopped competing
Over the past few
or
years
like
in general.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
tons of instances of someone being rusty and then like still like for instance when Mewtwo King came back for one tournament, he still beat Cody when Cody is a top 5 player in the world.
yeah.
That's because Mewtwo King just knows how to beat Fox and of course every other character by this point. But like, you know, like once you're that good, like there's certain things you just don't lose.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. This Falco especially I'm impressed with. There's a really nice weight there too. I like kind of that the Fox is trying to be more aggressive and like, you know, do different things. So in your, like, let's say you're in this position, right? You're down 3 stocks to 1. Do you feel like generally your idea is, well, I just need to stick with my same game plan, but I need to execute it better? Or are you like, well, now it's time to try some new ideas? Because clearly what I've been doing hasn't been working. What's your approach to it?
So by this point, depending on your experience levels, you should have an idea of the way this Falco's playing. So like even if you were thrown off at first, like unless you don't have the experience in the matchup to adapt properly, which could always be the case, this shouldn't be that big of a deal, number one, because the comeback potential against Space Animals. Number two, even if you drop this game, you should have more plans ready. Like, I'll tell you right now, this Falco does not approach at all. And that's cool, because that's like the smart way of playing. But when you learn that the Falco doesn't approach, that's when you could wait a little bit, and then once they eventually throw something out, you could whiff punish, because that's what Fox will do, while avoiding everything as well, because you have the movement to avoid everything.
Yeah.
You see right there, you know, he didn't approach, he just kind of put stuff out in his own space, and he nipped Fox, because Fox was trying to get in his zone. So what Fox could do is he could actually avoid his zone until the moment's right, and then use speed to get in.
I agree, especially with like, when he's in the Falco, like you said, when he's in the Falco's neutral zone, I feel like he pulls the trigger very quickly. He's immediately ready to attack when the Falco's anywhere nearby, but he could kind of like move a little bit more, wait, and like, you know, play out the neutral situation a little more, not necessarily slowly, maybe that's the wrong word, but a little more like intentionally.
Yeah.
You know, don't throw out the move as soon as you're in range to throw out the move.
Yeah.
Like, get in range, move in and out of the range, eventually throw out the move, right? See, probe a little bit, right?
Yeah, because Fox is a fast character, you know, he doesn't have any priority. So like, if the Falco's waiting a second, you need to wait a second and a half.
Yeah. I agree.
Also, he's missing a lot of his tech skill, a lot of accidental full hops and stuff. Yeah, he's missing easy stuff. Yeah, a little bit of spaghetti from spaghetti. Yeah.
You know, I wish like for these early rounds, it would be so helpful. Like, I mean, this is like a pipe dream, right? But like, what if we could profile like all these players who regularly come to the nightclub, and it's like, how long have they been playing? What part of the city are they from? Like, you know, what are their like, you know, big wins if they have any? I feel like that would be super helpful just to give us a little bit more context. Maybe it's like my fault. Maybe I should know these players, but I feel like when I'm on the commentary, I like to tell like a story a little bit more. It's obviously very easy if you're watching like Captain Smuckers versus Tusate.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit harder when you're.
Like we've known them for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually agree. Something I've been doing as a commentator, because I've been commentating a little bit more, is that I have a lot of experience with a lot of these players, like that are medium level, on the come up kind of thing. I do try to talk about what I notice about them, but it is impossible to know every player, especially, you know, you have no idea. Like, for all we know, one of these guys could be, like, from a different state.
True. Yeah. The problem with you commentating the players that you know very well is usually when they're playing on stream, you're also still in bracket.
Yeah.
It's the problem with trying to be a commentator and a good player.
Yeah, for me, it's really mood dependent. If I really want to commentate and I'm feeling like, okay, I can get away with it, so to speak, without having to drill warm-ups all night, then yeah, I'll do it. But, you know, it depends how serious you are.
What's your opinion on like warming up during bracket? How much do you think you need it?
Oh, I think it's really important. If you're outworking the competition, you'll play cleaner and you'll have more confidence.
How much do you think that day of prep matters, though? I agree, outworking the competition is important, right? But that's like the hours and hours that you put in at home. How much of a difference do you think it makes in your gameplay to get that 20, 30 minutes before your next bracket match? Maybe it's person dependent.
A lot of players, professionals in sports and everything, including Armada, would say that practicing and, you know, like grinding matchups and friendlies and net play is like studying for the test.
Right.
So now if you get to the point where you know all the answers to the test already, you just need to make sure, you know, you have those reminders, in my opinion. Like, if you know the things that you learned in the matchup, like, consciously, then warming up is the most important thing. Yeah, it's very important to stay in shape on your own time and practice matchups so you can remember these things. But as somebody who put in a ton of work, okay, so the Falco wins. As somebody who put in a ton of work during the pandemic, like, and like that was when I made my biggest improvement.